Hello. This course playlist of videos is designed to take you logically from drawing straight lines to understanding the different types of perspective and eventually being able to draw your own primitive forms in 3D perspective from imagination at any angle. That means you'll be able to draw cuboids, cylinders, pyramids, cones, and spheres, and to combine them, sculpt them, and carve them to draw things on paper like a 3D modeler would do on software like Blender. This is supposed to get you to a point where you can then take this skill and apply it to more advanced fields of drawing like learning anatomy, vehicle design, architecture, product design, and whatever else you want. Those are more specific fields and will generally not be covered here. The course is inspired by the journey I took to learn how to do this across a 3 or 4 month period using spaced repetition learning and following books like How to Draw by Scott Robertson and Frame Perspective by Marcus Matthew Mestre. It's based on my own personal notes that I made during this period, and you'll be encouraged to make your own notes as you progress. If you feel like grabbing the books, they would no doubt help you and provide far more information than I am capable of providing here, but they are quite technical, and some feel they are not suitable for complete beginners. While you can sit down and work through these videos in order, this channel specifically focuses on using the findings of neuroscientists to try and get you good as fast and efficiently as possible. And so this course is designed to complement a spaced repetition learning deck. The deck works inside a computer program called Anki, and it gives you a daily challenge using the skills from these videos on a flashcard. Over time, as you grow in skill, you'll see the card less and less. Each card contains a challenge that mirrors the ones shown in these videos to really push you to improve. These challenges should be a little bit difficult, but I've also included ways to make them harder and ways to make them easier if you find yourself struggling. Each card contains space for making notes, and this is another essential aspect of this learning system. They also include questions and experiments that I will suggest, and you will go off and find the answers to, tackling one perhaps every time you study that card. There is a version of the flashcard deck with GIFs, and while it has an increased file size, it includes GIFs made from the videos in the playlist to help you see what I'm doing without logging into YouTube every time. Think of each card as a digital journal page where, as well as doing everything I just mentioned, you can ask your own questions, make your own notes, run your own experiments, and then pick up where you left off every time you see the card again. This is a long-term commitment. The cards will show up intermittently for as long as you keep the deck to ensure that you stay sharp and capable of drawing like this, and therefore will require you to draw pretty much every day. You might like to try the deck, use it as a beginner, and then just stop using it when you feel like you've learned enough. If you'd rather just watch these videos and not use the deck at all, that's fine. Just make sure you thoroughly understand and can do what each video discusses before moving on to the next one. Progressing through without mastery of each step will only lead to frustration. I'll try to update this playlist and the card deck every week or so, and it's estimated to be around 25 videos and cards in total when done. This is being done deliberately to prevent people just overloading themselves with information too quickly. However, it also gives me a chance to better tailor the learning experience based on user feedback, so the format may change slightly as we move forward. If you are watching this in the future, at the point where it's complete, please be patient and take things slowly as you learn. If you'd like to learn alongside others similar to you and help me anecdotally test out if these learning methods make a difference, then you might consider joining this channel's Discord server, the world's biggest art learning experiment. You don't need anything special to begin drawing. Any drawing tool will do, along with some paper and a suitable surface to draw on. However, I would recommend a ballpoint pen, an A4 or A3 sketchpad, and a large, well-lit table or worktop for reasons we will discuss in the next video. The rest of the video will be dedicated to setting up the Anki deck, so if that doesn't interest you, feel free to skip to the next video. The process for grabbing the cards looks like this. The first thing you'll need to do is head over to the Anki website, which is in the description, in order to download the program to your desktop. It's a free download, but it does require you to set up a free account with them. Anki is also available on mobile, and you can synchronize your decks across mobile and desktop to study on the go, but I'd only be working with the desktop version here. Once it's installed and you open it, there's nothing there. And that's because you need to install decks to learn with or construct your own. The main way to get decks is to search for them on the deck browser. You simply click the Get Shared button down here and you use the web page to search for the deck. I've placed my deck there under the name 10,000 Hours Drawing Primitive Forms from Imagination. Do note, however, that it might not be there. This is because if a deck does not get downloaded often enough, Anki deletes it. And so if you're searching for it and you can't find it, you'll have to head to my Google Drive page and grab it from there instead. The link for this is also in the description. This will be permanently available and you just download the file and drag it to Anki. I would recommend virus scanning it to be safe and being generally internet smart when downloading stuff. As mentioned, there are two versions, a version with GIFs, which is a larger file size, and one without, which is smaller. They are identical apart from the presence of GIFs. Once we import the deck, Anki asks us a couple of things, like do we want to update the cards, and it's actually important for this deck that you keep all these options set to never. The reason for this is that you will be making notes on your cards specific to your version, and setting these options to update existing cards will overwrite your notes every time you download the deck again, and they will be gone forever. The easiest way to get around this is to just make sure that your import options box looks like mine does on the screen right now. This process will be required to get any new cards added if you have downloaded using the Google Drive method. This will bring in any new cards that you have added since the last download, but preserve your notes and cards as well as your learning progress for each card. I cannot be held responsible if your notes get wiped, and it would suck, so we'll talk about making backups next. We can go up here and click Export, and export the deck as an APKG file. This can then act as a way to restore the deck should you ever make a mistake and wipe your version of the cards. Just make sure to regularly overwrite this backup with the newest version. I do this once a week with my deck collection. That way all my notes are safely backed up in case of human error. With this done, we're ready to start learning. But first, we have to configure Anki a little differently to how it normally gets used. You see, it's designed to allow by default a certain amount of cards to review per day, and a certain amount of new cards to be added every day as well. This is because the program is normally used for stuff like learning language vocabulary, where you might review 100 cards a day and learn 20. That would most definitely be a bad idea here, as each card takes a minimum of 30 minutes to complete. If we head to the deck options, you can configure the daily review limit to review as many as you feel comfortable with over time. I only do 1, maybe 2 per day generally, so mine is set to that. You might feel comfortable doing 5. Play around and experiment. If it gets overwhelming, lower this value. You can also increase for today only if you have a day where you just want to work for longer. The new card limit I set to 0. This means no new material will ever be added unless I bring it in to study manually. You see, when you start learning, there will be days when you have no cards to review, a free day. And on these days, you can right-click the deck, hit Options, and use this new card limit option to change the number of brand new cards introduced. Hit Today Only and set it to 1. That will bring in 1 new card for you to study, and it should be the next card in the series. A safer way, which ensures you actually do get the next card in the series, is after doing the above step, go over here to Browse and look at the list of every card in the deck. The name field starts with the lesson number, so find the lesson number you need, right-click that box, then go to Set Due Date and set the days to 0. This will make that card appear today. To get new lessons, just update the deck, either by re-downloading it from the Google Drive or from the deck browser, and once again, make sure you set the Update Existing Card option to Never, or you'll wipe your own notes. Make a backup before updating. To study the cards, just click on the deck when it says you have something to work on, as denoted by these numbers. Read it and do what it says. Each card has a suggestion of challenges for you to try that get progressively harder, so each time you review the card, you should try and do something that you personally find difficult. There is also room to make notes, so that you can hit Edit down here and add your own notes where prompted. Feel free to add or delete whatever you want. These are simply templates and suggestions for you to make each card your own, and each one deals with a specific aspect of drawing in perspective. Treat them as journal pages that you pick up and continue writing in each time you see them. The bottom of each card displays several buttons to pick when you will next see this card and review it again. If it's a new card, I would suggest clicking hard, reviewing it the next day or certainly every other day or so initially, and then once you grow in skill and confidence, you can pick later dates. That should be everything you need to get going, but if you have any other questions, the best place to seek help is actually this channel's Discord server, the world's biggest art learning experiment, where we have entire sections dedicated to both using Anki and this specific drawing course, where you can share your thoughts, get help, and study with others. I hope you enjoy the course material and that the decks make a difference to you, but you do not have to use them. You can just make your own schedule, or just use these videos, or do whatever else you feel like doing. But I personally believe I got to the levels I did in such a fast time frame by actually using a spaced repetition learning deck like this, so give it a try.